So, welcome to the e-comm growth show, where we cut through the chaos of e-comm growth and show you how to build a business that scales and supports the life that you actually want. I'm your host, Brittany, former boutique owner turned growth strategist for e-comm owners like yourself. And today I'm joined by co-founders of Shopinova and Bloom, Robbie Switzer and Danny Stafford. We created this podcast to pull back the curtain on what's really working to grow Shopify brands to consistent 100K plus months without burnout or guesswork. Whether you're getting traction or scaling fast, this show is designed to help you simplify, focus, and grow with purpose.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the eComm Growth Show. If you have ever sat and wondered how to grow your Shopify sales, this episode is going to be super awesome for you because just in like the last year alone, we've probably talked with over 2,000 business owners that are probably all in very similar shoes to the ones you're standing in right now, just like trying to figure out, how do I grow my sales? How do I get profitable? How do I build the business I want? And that allows us to have a very unique insight into the industry. It's allowed us to kind of see some of the common things that people are trying to get those sales and just kind of see where everybody's at. So, Dan, I wanted to start by asking you specifically, because you actually spoke to a lot of those people. Out of those 2,000 people, like, what are some of the biggest commonalities? Where are they at revenue wise? What are they trying to do to achieve growth? And really, where should they be focusing instead? And we can kind of go from there.
Robbie, I'm having a hard time even thinking of that when I look at myself and realize my mustache is just nasty. I realize why Brittany made you shave yours before we did any formal recordings.
I think you
No,
pulled it
but
off nicely. I mean, you have the mullet to kind of go alongside, so I think it's working well for you.
thank you. I'd say we talk to people all over the place. A lot of them, though, I'd say are kind of at the 10K a month, hitting their first $20,000 months, even people up to 50K and beyond. But the vast majority of people have a product that works. And then they're like, okay, how do I get this in front of more people now? I feel like I don't want to just keep creating more organic because that feels like it's taking a lot longer than I wanted to. I'm not seeing the growth I expected. They're hitting a plateau kind of at the end of organic, essentially.
Hmm.
And they're sitting there wondering, like, what is gonna like here's what they see actually is their competitors, people selling worse products than them, growing a lot quicker than them. And they're
Mm.
going, why can't that be me? My product's better. I actually care about my customers. Like, why is this brand growing way faster than me? And it's crazy because that brand with the worst delivery and probably worst product has just figured out a few key things.
Hmm.
That is good content, an easy paid ad strategy, and a simple lifestyle cycle marketing strategy as well. But a lot of these people don't know how to put all that in place. They're over, chasing TikTok trends or another shiny object over here, and they don't really have a roadmap or a system of how to implement that. Or another pitfall they'll fall into is hiring someone to do it all for them,
Mm.
right? And then they'll spend thousands and thousands of dollars on someone that really doesn't know what they're doing.
Mm.
They run ads for a while. That person takes all their money. They don't spend much on ad spend. And then the brand owners start feeling like, oh, maybe paid ads don't work for me.
Hey.
Right. And then they see their competitors scaling, like, but it works for them. Let me try it again. And they'll get caught in this cycle of freelancers, agencies without ever really knowing, you know, how to do it and bring it in house and build it. I don't know. Does that kind of make sense? It feels like they know it should work, but they just don't know how to work
Yeah.
it.
And I feel like shiny object syndrome has gotten so much worse now that AI has popped off so hard, because it's like every week
Dude,
there's like uh there's a new service to create unlimited ad creative, or even something to push buttons inside the ad account. And it's like all these AI tools, all these tactics, and just that shiny object syndrome and the distraction when you were talking, that really seemed to ring true to me, where it's like dude, if people could just stay focused on a few key things, they would be so much better off. But it's really hard to stay focused when you get ads every single day of like an easy way to solve all your problems. But typically, what you find behind that curtain is somebody who's good at marketing, but not necessarily good at growing the brands they're working with. And so they kind of just caught in that spiral. But Brittany, what would you say? Does that kind of sound true to you, or what gaps are we leaving as far as where people are at?
Yeah, I think a lot of business owners know inherently what needs to happen. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think it's complete rocket science inherently what we teach. It's exactly what Daniel said, like, "Hey, you need good content." They can look at their competitors and see that. You need good ads that work for you. Once again, not a new thought. And then you need stellar, life cycle marketing and email marketing and SMS in place to establish that growth in your customer base, right? So a lot of brands know what needs to happen. I think it's the but how
Mm,
accountability to help them get there. It's like just break it. If you can just teach me, I can learn and I can do it, but I just don't even think they know like a first step. And if you search on YouTube how to grow my Shopify store, and
yeah.
go down that rabbit hole. Oh my, because I've done it. Like, you'll have 50 different types of recommendations, and it's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna do it for a week or 2 and cross my fingers on a wish and a prayer and a peanut butter jelly sandwich that this thing works." And, and then the shiny object syndrome is, "Okay, well, let me just follow this other person online and see if that works." But I think it's the ho like, how do I practically do this is the big piece of that's missing.
Yeah. Dude,
And
the
the
crazy thing with the crazy thing with YouTube videos is it's like those videos are made by people that love the technical aspects of running a Shopify store. So they are very passionate about getting your product descriptions set up correctly. And you can go down hours and hours long rabbit holes of like how to just set up your product page and how to do your product images. That has so I mean, it has a little leverage, but compared to kind of the three main things we focus on in the Growth Made Simple system, it's almost it's a very little importance if you don't actually get in front of people. And you're not actually like nurturing those people and you don't have a business model that kind of pencils out. So let's say somebody comes to us, they're whatever, maybe they're doing 20K a month, they've kind of plateaued where they could the sales they've been able to achieve just with their current efforts, whether that's organic, maybe an agency that's doing some of what they want to see happen, but not everything. What would kind of what would it kind of look like for them to um, implement this growth made simple system? And what even is that? What lives inside that system?
Who are you asking?
Whoever has a good answer.
I think Brittany has the best answer for that one.
Yeah, so in addition to the how do I do this, I think a lot of business owners also they're aware of all the different areas that they need to improve. So you have a running tally of 50 to-do lists at all times, right? But it's like, what is the actual thing that's most important? And I think that's also missing for a lot of business owners. So like early on with a lot of our clients, email is a very underutilized, untapped tool for a majority of e-com owners. So one of the things that I typically recommend is, hey, even before we get ads going, make sure that there's a pop-up that's converting between 3 to 5%. So we're gathering information and data. We can also have that grow our ROAS with our ads, get more effective ads, grow our customer base. Let's have a really solid welcome email just out the gate to kind of get started. And then pretty quickly after that, we kind of dive into ads made simple, and we kind of guide them through, hey, this is a step by step of how you create a very simplified ad account, how you utilize your budget. A lot of our brands are starting with lower budgets per day. $100, $150 a day is typically the starting point. Um, and then we kind of grow and scale from there, build out other
The step
things, but
I wanted to say something on the step-by-step piece. That's what brings people such a peace of mind
Mhm.
because maybe they've tried pieces of this from tutorials, YouTube videos, but they don't really know what's actually working today. That's what I love about our system is like we're spending over $1 million a month, for our client base on the agency side. So we literally pull that in and just show people exactly how we're running it today. And once people are able to see that, they're like, oh, this actually isn't rocket science. If I have this step by step, just do this, this, and then go live. Like this is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
yeah, we just had a client recently, Leo, who's on our team. He's more of a technical strategist. Uh, he just helps a boutique owner learn some segmentation for her emails, a very simple thing to set up, very easy thing to teach. She didn't have it. It was a bit of a gap knowledge wise and just execution in her business. And he taught her how to effectively set that up and send email campaigns. And it's like, boom, a $3,000 email campaign. Like it was an instantaneous result, which is just so cool. Those small things that can be done, but you have more of a strategy and more of a guide through the process too. So,
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
that
so
happens in a lot of businesses where there's a lot of revenue, low hanging fruit, as we like to call it, Brittany, just sitting there that people can immediately liquidate, right? And start making momentum and progress towards their sales goals. And then it's like, all right, cool. Now how do we build momentum off of that win? And it just keeps compounding.
yeah. Another thing that I work with a lot is so many times business owners were focused on everything that's going wrong versus lining and effectively scaling the things that are going right. And what happens is early on in like the coaching process together, and it's so normal. They're just so close to it. We're like in our bottle of our business. We're in the weeds. I just had a call today with a boutique owner. She's like, I own a brick and mortar, a very successful brick and mortar. She oversees a team of 13. She has no full time employees, and she's just always in reactionary mode. So it's really difficult to create a strategy to effectively scale when you feel alone and isolated and when you have no plan, but you feel overwhelmed by the 50 things you have to do and the constant fires every day. Like it doesn't
Yep.
build you up for success versus part of the growth made simple is simplifying this for you. It's not necessarily going to be easy. Sometimes you're looking at your numbers or when you don't like Excel spreadsheets and now you're doing Excel spreadsheets or what have you. It's not always easy, but it is simple. And that is just such a core part of it. It makes the results attainable and feel like, yeah, like I can do this.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think too, one of the misconceptions about ads is people like you say 100 or $150 a day, and that immediately sounds expensive to somebody who's never ran ads before. Like, you know what? I gotta pay that every single day. But what you don't realize is a lot of times that means consistent sales volumes, sometimes to the tune of like 4 or 5 times what you're spending per day. So you're spending 100 a day, but maybe you're making 4 or $500 back every single day on those ads. And so it's just a little bit of a different game. It's a little bit of a different way to run your business if you haven't ran ads at all. And so you kind of want to plan for the expense, but you're also going to plan for the consistency and the ability to kind of like incrementally inch that up over time. And a lot of the people who were scared to start with $100 a day are now spending 30, 40, or $50,000 a month. And they're kind of like growing that every single month and building these wonderful businesses that actually support them and that actually gives them kind of the freedom that they're looking for from that business. So really
It
quick,
is a fun journey to watch though, Rob. I will double click and pause on that one real quick.
yeah.
Is, when people are scared to spend $100, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is actually working. And then we've seen people go like, I'm just going to spend $1,000 a day. And we're like, uh, are you sure? Yeah, and I've seen it actually work out for our clients that just, like, scale really quickly, and all of a sudden they go from being scared to spend $100 a day to spending $1,000 a day like it's nothing. Obviously, they're getting the return and scaling quickly, but it's funny once you make that shift and see it working, how quickly you can start building, momentum.
Well, if
Mhm.
you ran into a machine on the street and you put a dollar in and it gave you $4 out, you'd be pretty excited to put another dollar into that machine real quick, right?
Yeah, dude,
Or
100%, yeah.
when that happens, they're like, "Oh, snap. This is, like, magical." And, everybody's process is different, so I do like to tailor expectations and all that kinda good stuff, but I think that's part of the connect. It's like, "Oh, this is really working for me," and those brands do scale, like, really quick, which is super, super exciting for them for sure.
Yeah, and I wanna get to that, like, what kind of results people are actually getting from this system, but before we do that, I kinda just wanna zoom out and really give a simple explanation of kind of what those main levers are. So, number 1, we have ads, like learning to run ads and get sales consistency. We have email, which helps you get those repeat purchasers. In the case of that one brand you were talking about, they had $3,000 just sitting there, ready to be liquidated. They sent one email and they got that. And now they're going to warm up that list and they're going to be getting that on a more consistent basis. So I have ads, email, and then we also have presence, which Daniel mentioned earlier. You got to have good content. Well, your site also needs to be set up in a way where your value proposition is clear, where people understand who you are, why they should buy for you. You want to make sure that it feels like they're getting a good deal anytime they're landing on your site. And it's just like your personality and your vision and your values, you want to make sure that's all coming through in your presence. Brittany, I know you've done a lot of work with, let's say, like a lot of the boutique owners specifically, like just on their Instagram profile. Like you talk to the person and you're like, wow, you're so passionate about this. Like, this is so awesome. And there's so much life coming through in a face to face conversation. And then you go to their Instagram, you're like, wait, who is this? And there's
Yeah.
kind of like a disconnect between their online presence and who they are as a company and as a brand. So what does that process look like? How do you find alignment in those things?
Yeah, it's so much fun to find alignment because there's so much opportunity there. And one of the things a lot of us are missing, once again, because we are ourselves, we're so close to it, we don't know how we're perceived or what our secret sauce is. So part of the journey is helping e-com owners find that secret sauce. So it's a little bit more in depth, but high level, when a lot of boutique owners I've worked with before, they have a phenomenal in person boutique experience. And then, or, what have you. And then you switch to online and it's lackluster, it doesn't align. So, one of the core things is identifying what their values are, who their ideal customer is, what they're passionate about, and the why behind what they do, and translating those things to an online experience. So, one example I love to use is I had a brick and mortar store. They were killing it with denim specifically. And they were like, "Okay, like, we're really good at denim," and I asked more questions, like, "Why?" And they were really good at identifying people's sizes with just looking at them or helping them find the right fit. So how we translate that into, like, an online strategy or system is they had customer support on their website to help, specifically with jean fitting, and then they also had a quiz on their website as a part of, like, a landing page to effectively help people find their right fit. So it was like just one of the ways that like translating an in-person to an online experience. But in your bio with online presence, you should really have who you serve and how you serve them with a clear call to action is really important. And then I'm going to be talking about story brand in our group training later today, but having a really clear path to purchase. So sometimes we just have a lot of clutter on our Instagram, a lot of link tree links and oh my goodness. I worked with a client. She had 10 different link tree links. None of them said website clearly. And I was like, no one can shop with you. We don't know where your website is. But just having your main homepage website as your clickable link, and then Simple thing I like to do as your pinned post is like an about you or your why so people can identify and connect with you as the owner. Then I typically do some form of a promotional and then like a how to shop with me type pinned post. So it's super clear on how to connect with you. Um, anyway, yeah. So
I
it's
love it.
some good things.
I love it. All right. And now let's go to you, Dan. Any favorite success stories that you've seen out of kind of the Growth Made Simple system, people implementing that system? And then, Brittany, I want to kind of talk to you about just kind of average results, like what people are doing and, the first 6 months or 3 months of really implementing some of these things. But any favorite success stories come to mind?
Dude, I mean, there's a lot of them, and they're all my favorite, but one really sticks out. Gal's name is Catherine, and she owned a brick and mortar boutique. But I remember we talked to her early on, and she was pretty skeptical, like, "Oh, I don't know if this will work for me." But I remember her goals were like, scale the online side so she could spend less time, in her in-person stuff, and eventually have her husband quit his job, work from home, all this stuff. And I remember it took a while to get her over the line because she's skeptical. Michael, the sales guy, like, kept texting her or whatever, and she finally joined, and Brittany really helped her, like, dial in her value proposition, helped her refine her branding and her organic strategy and kind of what angle to use. And I remember as soon as she launched ads, it was, like, immediately taking off. Like, she was only doing, like, 4 or $5,000 a month online. Once she went through that with Brittany, then launched ads, she, like, very quickly got up to, like, $20,000 a month, I'm pretty sure, and even has, like, high marks of 30, and she's still scaling. So it was just, like, a super cool story of someone that was very skeptical,
Yeah.
came in, implemented all herself, went over the hump of, like, running ads, spending that much per day, and then seeing it, like, over quadruple her business over the period of a few months. It's pretty
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. And I remember she had posted, like, even shortly after launching ads, like, she posted in our private group or whatever. She said, like, I used to be scared to post, to do $10 boosted posts because I felt like I was wasting money. There wasn't clear attribution on that money, which that's a big part of running ads made simple is making sure, like, okay, you're spending X amount of dollars. How much is coming back in sales? And we actually can find that number by linking the Shopify store with the ad account. And some people just don't have it linked. They don't know, like, they're just throwing that money out there. They don't know if there's a return. So there's ways we can do attribution on that. But she was scared to spend even just $10 on a boosted post. And then she went to $100 a day. She's like, I'm feeling so confident and excited. And now pretty sure she does more than that and just has been growing her business. So that's super awesome.
Yeah.
And then Brittany, I guess just on average, we have a wide range of brands. Like, yeah, we have boutique owners, but there's other types of brands in there as well. But what are kind of people experiencing implementing this three-part system?
Yeah. So what's really cool overseeing like all of our clients right now in Bloom, our average 3 month growth is people are doubling their sales on average in the first 3 months.
Yeah, that
Yeah. It's,
Mike, hold the phone. What did you
yeah.
say?
Yeah.
Doubling
That's
Doubling their
3
crazy.
months.
sales. Yeah.
The best
And
person.
yeah, it's been really amazing. And in the first 3 to 4 months is when a lot of our clients are seeing those, like, really big, incredible results. So, typically, month 1 or 2, we're having some quick wins, but it's a lot of foundational building, like we were talking about, "Hey, your online presence needs to be dialed in." I really don't want people wasting money, so if there's no, pop-up and welcome series and some of those things to catch additional sales, we like to have those gaps filled in. But, yeah, just absolutely incredible. But one of the biggest things for me is just the complete radical life change that I get to see in the journey. So, like, we've had multiple clients come in skeptical, or they're still working with an agency, some of them, and see them increase in their confidence, believe in themselves. They're like, hey, I can actually take control of my business. I can be the one who knows how to scale it. I don't have to delegate that out to someone. I can do it myself. but then also grow and scale. So Tag Aloha is like one of my favorites. I mean, everybody's like my favorite. I have so many incredible client stories I could go on, but Tag Aloha is one of my favorites because when AJ and Alana started, they were working with an agency. They were, doing okay, but there was so much room for growth. And him and I had a come to Jesus moment, a heart to heart. And I was like, dude, like, you got this. Like, I believe in you. Let's freaking do this. And he did. And the next month, their sales doubled soon as he would like oversee their ads and everything. And then,
When she's saying, "Let's do this," she means he fired his agency, right?
yeah.
And did the ads himself.
Yep, and he did it himself, and then this past fall, so their last quarter 4, they had their first multi-six-figure, retail month, which was just a complete game changer for their family. They've since delegated ads to the agency and are having a wonderful experience, but it's quite literally changed his life, their family's life, his co-owner's life, and, our last coaching call, he was on a vacation with family, I
Let's
checked
go.
out of the business and just completely enjoying himself. Um, yeah, it's just been an incredible thing. I have families that are growing businesses together, so husband-wife teams, and they're learning how to scale and create not just temporary wealth, but generational wealth for their family. They're creating more time for their family. They're having more, I don't know, more time, more self-care capacity. They're delegating more. So just incredible things. I have clients who are getting warehouses because they expanded so much. I have clients having they got a new warehouse. They had to get a new warehouse because they are scaling so quickly. Um, yeah, so just incredible
Oh,
things
yeah.
going.
Yeah, and, like, here's the thing, out of all those 2,000 people that we kinda spoke to that are all looking to grow they're all looking to do the same thing. They wanna boost sales, they want some freedom from their business. Most of those people, they think they want to just delegate all of this work to somebody else. Well, they do want that, but here's the problem is you're not ready for delegation right out of the gate. Most of those people are not ready for delegation because there's things that just a typical agency wouldn't do. Like, they're not gonna go scrub your Instagram profile and, like, redo a pinned post for you. Like, that's something you as the business owner, that's a journey you need to go on to establish your values, to clearly put out your value proposition, and just kinda build this infrastructure for success. When you are ready for delegation, that just scales so much easier when your profit margins are dialed in, when your online presence and your branding is dialed in, when you actually have an understanding of how these different pieces work together, the ads and the email, that actually puts you in a position to be able to delegate so much better, and not from a place of abdicating your responsibility, but by actually empowering somebody to work underneath you. Which is what you need to do as a business owner anyways. It's not like you don't just hand the keys to the kingdom to somebody else and expect it all to grow. Like, you still need to be in the captain's chair. So I love that that's happening inside of the consultancy, and, like, people are getting awesome traction, and, like, hey, if they're enjoying that work and they like living in the ad account and doing ad creative, like, just keep doing it and pocket those extra profits. But at some point, you're gonna get into a situation where it's like, do I want to trade a little bit of this for more time and actually delegate this out to a team who can take it even further than I could on myself? And that's where a lot of some of the more successful clients are getting to now, which is just really fun to see as well.
Yeah, for sure. I just had a call today actually with a client, uh, owns a brick and mortar boutique, and we were talking about learning your own ads and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm personally so passionate about what we do because I was the boutique owner who paid $5,000 to an agency. And for multiple months, it was just, it's the season or it's just something that's going on right now. And there wasn't any clear direction or idea of what was going on. And that helplessness, like that feeling I felt of like, I'm spending all this money and I don't feel like I know what to ask or what I can do. It's just not a feeling I wish on anyone, and it does not feel good, right? And you just feel really helpless. So the program to me, because she's hiring someone to help her with her marketing, and she's like, "Oh, I just want to delegate that." I'm like, "No, we're gonna be going through everything together. Like, I'm gonna help you learn. It's really important, so that you feel empowered and you know what questions to ask. You feel like more in the driver's seat, because we've also had brands who've scaled really quickly with agencies, and then just I get so many weird stories as far as like they just dropped off the face of the planet. They locked me out of my ad account. Like, they're not giving me ownership of my ad account back. I'm like, what in the world? Um, but we hear these stories and something happens, and then their businesses completely crash because they didn't have the tools that were the essential driver to their own companies, which is really scary when you don't feel like you're in control, you're the one driving, and you're not in control of the brakes or the acceleration of your business. And that's where I like everybody to kind of be as a sweet spot. Like they feel very capable. They can I have brands right now, they're choosing to be on the brakes, it's family time, it's July, it's a slow but they're actively choosing that. They're not reacting to it, and that's so much more empowering.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up, guys. You are not alone. Feel free to hang out with us on the podcast anytime if you want more hands-on help. Like we obviously have these programs, but just hope you guys are doing well, and we'll catch you next time.
And if you want more information about our three-step process, we definitely talked about it a little bit more here, but you can click the link below in our bio here in order to get more information and watch the full in-depth training.
See you later.
Thanks for tuning in to the eComm Growth Show, where clarity replaces chaos and strategy fuels freedom. If today's episode sparked any idea or gave you a clear next step, we'd love for you to subscribe, share it with a fellow brand owner, and leave a review so more entrepreneurs can grow with intention, not overwhelm. For more resources and real talk on scaling your Shopify brand the smart way, follow us on Instagram at Shopanova. Until next time, keep growing with purpose.